most of the workforce is not engaged, meaning they're not committed. They are not connected to the work they do. And when they're not connected, what happens by rote. It doesn't happen intentionally, and it doesn't necessarily happen in a positive way for the business. The numbers consistently say fewer than a third are engaged. They consistently say that a majority of the workforce is not committed. I call them seat warmers. Consider this. Seat warmers and seat burners get 71 cents out of every payroll dollar. Now, maybe not in your organization. So let's say it's 33 cents out of every dollar. Let's say it's 50 cents out of every dollar. Isn't that more than you want seat warmers and seat burners to get? So here's my question to you. Please take 60 seconds. 60 seconds and make a note on your handout with respect to your response. What have you done? What have you done about these impacts? And if you haven't, where can you start?
That like a bachelor's degree used to be required because not a lot of people had them.
Okay, let's reconvene. People don't know the difference between open and closed questions. They don't know that what and how questions can make a huge difference. They don't know that a dialogue really means talking until everybody understands the same way. I worked the career ownership program with a business here in Columbus with 20 of their employees. It took a few months, but it was a combination of some training, some discussion sections, some group coaching, some individual coaching, and a lot of it hit on this straight stuff. The results were tremendous. In terms of the business reality, one of the things that happened from the beginning was, and we're talking about a group of 20 younger employees, the up-and-coming leaders basically, but ranged in age from probably 25 to 40, maybe 45. And these were the folks that were going to have to step into leadership. One of the things that kept coming up again and again, well, you know, there's so much business out there in this particular sector that we're not going after. Why aren't we going after it? Why isn't this a direction for us? They didn't know, and they were asking great questions. So we arranged a big Q&A. The 3 partner owners were at the front. The 20 people were in the room. We provided some questions ahead of time, but it became really an open Q&A session. Somebody posed that. One of the owners said, well, here's why. And the difference was between public work and private work. One of the owners said, you know, in the 20-some years been doing this, we've had 2 projects where we weren't paid and where we had to take legal action to get anything. They were both private. It was like night and day in terms of perspective with respect to business reality. If your workers don't know how things are, and I would bet in most cases they don't, there's a place to start. It has to happen, because if it doesn't, then you have employees, and they will never be anything but employees. The client that I mentioned that took 20 people through, the outcomes from that program, everybody came out of it with a 3-year potential career path. Everybody came out of it with a 12-month learning plan. And they didn't just pull these out of the air. There were discussions throughout. We're talking about treating people like they have something at stake, like they have equity. When we treat them that way, they get equity. And Lord forbid we talk about feedback. Nobody likes to give feedback. Nobody likes to get feedback. So let's make it feed forward. It doesn't really matter, but without that interaction and that connection, People don't have any buy-in to what they do or how they perform. Why should one employer be the one who has to have a program that aligns everybody with the strategy? Why not shift that around? Why shouldn't every employee align themselves with the strategy? When people, in fact, know themselves, when they know their number one customer, and that's the organization, its needs, its business reality, they can figure out where their best value is, where they can provide the most value. The concept of career ownership, and I believe this deeply because I have seen it happen, is a motivator. When people take responsibility and they're shown how to figure things out and the expectations in terms of alignment are clear, they're motivated. It's what creates success for not only you, but the folks in your organization as well as your organization in a global economy.